always have a little drawer that's full of loads of little random bits that you know you're going to need and it can get you out of shit. Where this overflow is going through the soffit out there, it's been dripping water. It's the only overflow in the roof anyway, so we know that's exactly what it is. What I always do is just put a little bend on there, not massively, but just enough, just to keep the water level down that little bit lower. I hope I can catch this van. I love a great branded van. This one's a little cracker. Still no real heat in the floors yet. We're going to have a look in a minute. So this is the flow going into the low loss header. This is the return coming out of the low loss header. So now they will be getting warm. We can feel heat now going into them, whereas before they weren't. But my concern is there's just no heat coming from these two flowing returns from the ground source. Right, ball bags, you gonna let me out? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. I just want to start off with a massive thank you to everyone that commented on my last video about walking away from that job. The response from it has been brilliant, and it just sort of underlined the reason why I did walk off the job. Not walk off the job, but walk away from the job. And you know, a lot of people related to exactly the reason why I went, and a lot of people related to the fact of you've got to put yourself first. Your mental well-being is number one in every day, to be honest, but especially with something like that that has the potential to go tits up very fast. And a lot of people said they could see the stress in my voice from sort of day one, in fact, which is nice that the people that are watching the channel, you lot as subscribers who enjoy the content, are beginning to get to know me that little bit more. It's a bit deep, isn't it, for a Monday morning, but you know where I'm going. Right, anyway, this Monday is a lot more upbeat than what last Monday was. Bit of a jobbing day today, catching up from a few things that I never got round to last week. So first of all, I'm just heading to Plum Base now to pick up a kitchen tap, and what else have we got? Ball valve. Got a ball valve to change. A mate of mine messaged me over the weekend. One of his rental properties, they got a drip coming out the overflow, so we'll take a ball valve over, because we all know that's more than likely what it's going to be. Also, if I get a chance today, I'm going to swing into the barn just to see. I haven't been there for probably a week and a half now, just to see how, if it's getting warm. Yeah, just see if it's getting warm, and just to, you know, generally have a quick look over and make sure everything's all right. I know we've got a utility to go in there at some point. But yeah, no, let's go and get some bits. Right, so what we've got to do, we've got to take this tap out, and I've picked up a replacement one. So we'll get this whipped off underneath here, make sure everything's all right, and switch it for the new one. Right, we've cleaned the bottom of this cupboard out. We always have to do it. Everyone has to remove all that crap out the bottom. So it's going to be a bit of a squeeze under here. I'll take these off, and what I'll do, I'll put some isolation valves into there as well, just to make life a little bit easier for when we reconnect the tap in. Right, so I'm going to keep hold of these, because as we know from the previous video, I have a tendency of dropping them down the back of units. So here's the new tap that's going to go in. I've got the old one out, and we can't hook this one in because it's got that little sort of cylinder bit on the bottom. Usually you can hook them in, but with this we're going to have to put it in old school way. So just tuck the tails down through there. Bit of a pain these are, because the hole's quite tight, and then just slide it in like so. It's a bit of a pain under here with this cylinder style bracket on the bottom. It's much easier with a normal threaded bar and a nut, but we'll get this in somehow. This must be the most awkward place to put these two isolation valves in, but we'll get them in somehow. A little bit of patience, a little bit of jiggery, and we'll get them in. Right, there we go, they're on. We've turned them on, connected them in, turned them on, and the tap is all working as it should be. No constant dripping from this one. So another little bread and butter job done. Right, as tradesmen, be it plumbers, electricians, gas engineers, underfloor heating technicians, you know as well as I, we have busy days where we just haven't got a chance to go to the shop, get anything to eat, or even, you know, when you wake up late and you just ain't got time to make the day's sandwiches or anything like that. This brings us on to today's sponsor of the video. Perfect for those times. It is Y Food. Y Food is a meal replacement drink. It's not a protein shake. It's not a diet drink. It's a meal replacement. So if you haven't had time to make those dinners, you can just take one of these in the van. I always carry Happy Banana and a chocolate one in the van, just in case I have one of them days where I've just got no time to go and get anything to eat. They do 5 different flavours. These 2 are personally my favourite. They also do coconut, vanilla, cold brew coffee. That's the one my missus always has. When the delivery arrives, she just takes that one straight away. And they do a vegan version as well that comes in chocolate, berry, vanilla, and banana. So they've got all bases covered. So they've got 26 vitamins and minerals, high in protein, high in fibre, lactose-free, gluten-free. So they do the powders that you can mix up yourself. They do the bars as well, so you can chuck them if you have bought your lunch. Chuck a bar in your lunch. But these drinks are perfect. They keep you full for 3 to 5 hours. So you can just crack on with the day and get the day done. Massive thank you to Y Food for sponsoring this video. They've also given me 10% off code. I'll add the link in the bottom here. I'll also put it in the description as well. So check that out, hit the link, and it'll give you 10% off your first order at Y Foods. So thanks Y Food. Right, let's get back to the video. Right, so we've got where this overflow is going through the soffit out there. It's been dripping water, so I would hazard a guess, I bought one with me anyway, a ball valve and float, but I would hazard a guess this is going to be right up to its limit. I've been and got my light just so I can see a little bit better. What this is doing, this is just passing, and you can see, I don't know if you can make it out, but there's a rim around there showing that the water has been up to the overflow height, which we know anyway because the customer has said that in the morning or when she hasn't been in the property for a long time, i.e. through the day, the overflow is running, which tells us that when she's had a bath or used the hot water, because obviously this header tank feeds the cylinder, when she's used the water this level's dropped, and because it's only passing ever so slightly, it takes a long time for the water to get up to overflow height and start showing itself through there. It's the only overflow in the roof anyway, so we know that's exactly what it is. So what we'll do, we'll turn it off on the isolation valve, switch this one out, run the hot water just to drop the level of the tank slightly, replace it with a new ball valve, and away we go. So just do that, drain it out. We'll undo it off here, pop a new washer into it, switch this one out for a new one, which I've brought up here. There we go, we've got the new one to go in. What I always do is just put a little bend on there, not massively, but just enough, just to keep the water level down that little bit lower within the tank. I mean, it's just a single woman here on her own, so she's not going to use that much hot water anyway. So yeah, just a slight little kink in it, float right down on its lowest setting, and we'll get it reconnected back in. Always have a little drawer that's full of loads of little random bits that you know you're going to need and that can get you out of shit. So fibre washers are always in that drawer. Other washers, random little valves, small little micro bore fittings, they all come in handy. For the sake of it, always stick a new washer on it. We'll turn it back on, it's quite close to its level I think anyway. Yeah, just make sure it's working. What I'll go and do is open the tap and drop this water level. There we go, we've opened them up, so now the water level will slowly drop on this tank and we'll see the ball valve begin to work. There we go. So as you can see now, the water line will be down here as opposed to up here when it's been passing. Right, we know that's running, so we're going to turn it off, come back and check. So now this tank will begin refilling back up, and as you can see, the ball valve will stop filling. There we go, all shut off. Perfect. So get the lid back on, get the lights down, get the ladders away, and another little bread and butter job done. That's that ball valve change, bread and butter jobs. I'd love to have 10 of them a day, keep you going forever. So what we'll do now, I've got that one done, that one's ticked off the list. I'll drop my mate a message and just let him know that's been done. And we're fully enough, we're coming back from that job, we're going to pass the barn renovation. So that was a job, that was a big job that was run properly. So we're going to pop in there and see how everything's going, because I know Scott's got another couple of jobs coming up in the pipeline that he wants to talk to me about. So we'll stick our head in there and see how it's looking. I think the stairs might be finished, and hopefully there's a little bit more heat going around the place, because last time we went out the heat had only been on a couple of days, I think. So right, we'll swing in there and take a look. So we're just on our way to the barn. I hope I can catch this van on the A46. I love a great branded van. This one's a little cracker. Look at this. Right, let's have a look and see how the barn's doing. It's open. How are we looking in here? Oh, jungle theme. I like that. Works well, that does. Still no real heat in the floors yet. We're going to have a look in a minute. Floors going in here. That's lovely, that is. Stairs getting... Oh, that's moved on a bit. Utility room's changed a little bit as well. Oh, boiler room's been covered in. A lot's been going on. Let's have a look in there. How's that opening then? So all the plant rooms sort of cupboarded in, boxed in, which is all well and good, but I think we're going to struggle to get to anything. So this middle panel's a fixed panel. You can't get really over to any controls unless you stand on there, and I suppose if this has ever got to come off. Interesting. But we will be back at some point, because there's a sink unit going in here. I think washing machine, or yeah, I think the washing machine's going here, or there, one of the two. And the sink unit, the utility sink unit in there at some stage. So that'll be nice. Bit of wallpapering going on. Nice little chandelier, I like that. And they look quite smart. I assume we can have something along the top of them. And I'll follow down the stairs. Funky wallpaper. But I am just a little concerned why there's no heat going to the manifolds. No, pumps running, valves are all on. Motorised valves open. There's a small amount of heat there. Yeah, might have to do a little bit of investigation on these. So let's start by turning the hot water off. So I don't know anything about these renewable systems. The company's come in to do this. However, this is the flow and the return coming from the main pipework out in the fields. And these are cold. Really, like just cold pipe cold. Whereas the flow and returns going into the cylinder for the hot water. So these are doing the hot water. These are hot. We've had hot water here for weeks. But what I'm thinking is now, if someone from renewables knows anything about it, what I'm thinking is this has been on, but just electricity heating up these two pipes, because these are red hot. So what I think is that electricity in here is heating that to give Scott hot water. Now, obviously, at the state of the building, we don't need the hot water on. So I've gone into the settings and turned the hot water off. So we've turned that off. I've just gone through the settings on this and gone to, I don't know if you can see it, heating, cooling. This mode selection was on auto. I've just put it onto manual, 47 degrees, and all of a sudden something's kicked in here. So just to try and get some heat into the building, and now doing that, I can feel the heat coming through. So this is the flow going into the low loss header. This is the return coming out of the low loss header, which will now give, so these two pipes are manifold flows, so downstairs flow, upstairs flow. So now they will be getting warm. If I reach over, yeah, we can feel heat now going into them, whereas before they weren't. Possibly because this was set to auto, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to sort of play around with it, yet I am playing around with it. But it's now giving us some heat through this low loss header. So the flow going to it is warm. Well, it's getting really warm actually. Flow to here is getting warm. And this one is getting warm. And now this is the return, and that's the return going into the bottom of this low loss header. So I'll give it half an hour or so and just see if we get any heat coming through these downstairs and upstairs manifolds, because at the minute we haven't got a lot. So we'll give it a while and see what's happening. Oh, I've just opened the bypass. As you might have heard, the heat is through here now, which we didn't have. Pumps running, heat to here, and we're getting the circuits. There's a bit of warmth coming through the circuits. So let's go down to the other one. There's now been, ironically, been boxed in, and see if we can just drag a little bit of heat through. There's a bit of heat coming through that now, Scott. Can we get, how do we get into this one?
Yeah, Brown for some reason has corked it and he's not supposed to. Is that just
right, lifts off.
Yeah.
Perfect. So at the minute they're cooled, but if we open up that, straight away feel the heat coming through there and straight into that there instantly.
Well, the other ones won't be cooling because I've turned the summer lounge off.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
So, oh, you've turned the summer lounge off?
Because we're doing the floor.
Right, okay.
Alright?
Yeah.
That's why half of them like come in, fall in.
Oh yeah, you've got that one shut off, that shut off.
Yeah, it should be.
Why are these? Oh, these are off because, did Charlie come and look at them? Has he rewired them?
I know.
No, okay, alright. But at least we'll be getting some heat through, so that's...
Some of them shouldn't be falling.
Right, okay, that one.
They're down.
That one. That one's...
No, as in these are down, aren't they? Or...
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah. Alright.
But at least now we're getting a bit of heat through it to some degree. So I've just screwed on them actuators that were off. I know Scott's just said he's shut down the summer room, so this one's open, this one's open, this one. You can see the ones that are shut off are the ones with the heads that are pushed down slightly. But at least that's going to give us some heat, at least, because we haven't had any. So we've had a little bit of a play around with the settings on that, and from what I can tell now, we've got a little bit of heat going into that low loss header and coming out. But my concern is there's just no heat coming from these two flowing returns from the ground source. So Scott's going to have a word with the renewables company, get them out, and just to see what's going on with this. I say I literally passing, stuck my head in, and I've ended up getting my head into that. But we'll see how they get on with it. Right, now I've been blocked in by these boys. Right, ball bags, you going to let me out? Right, latest Doug.
Yes.
Latest mate. Right, let me out boys, I'm off.